Hi and welcome, I'm John and this is Unique War Gaming. Guys, welcome back. For everyone that's new, this is a different type of video. I want to make something to put on my desk today that I can save space on my desk. Okay, piques your interest. So for all my regulars here, guys, I feel love, thank you very much. I'll see you in a minute. Right, so today I want to try and make a painting stand. When I say painting stand, I don't mean something I can put models onto to paint. I don't mean that at all. I mean some sort of stand that I can put paints onto so they're easy access for me and they're not swamping my desk. Give me more space on the desk, because there's some really big models that I want to start painting, but I can't really paint them with the paints starting to multiply on my desk, and that's my own laziness for not putting them away. Let me show you what I mean. Here's what I mean. Paints all starting to multiply. Now I did have this lovely little plastic thing. The idea was to put the data cards on there for the table, but it's too big for that. So I started putting the paints on there. Again, it's handy, but it takes up too much space. And this is another problem. Okay, so where there's been a paint on there, I think actually might have been that one, it started to leak out. Now this piece of plastic here is going to be perfect on the shelf there with certain paints on, like airbrushes and airbrush paints and stuff like that on there, because then I've still got these down here as well. So as you can see, through my own laziness of just painting and putting the paints down, it's getting a bit out of control for me. Now that big clear plastic piece is good, but it does take up too much space on the desk. I'd rather have something vertically I can just put the paints on, ideally too deep, so I could have, for example, Screaming Skull, another Screaming Skull. The one behind is a new paint, not opened. The one at the front is the one that's opened, because that's another problem I have. I can't find a particular colour that's opened, and I've grabbed another one, same colour, that's not opened, end up opening it. I have 2 or 3 or 4 pots opened of the same colour. I don't want that. I want to try and keep it more organised. And as you saw, you know, down around the area there's too much clutter stuff. And I think if I sort the paints out first and have them organised, I can then start to organise everything else around me. So what I'm going to do, I was thinking about 3D printing a piece, which I still can do as an extra piece, just to, you know, to add paints onto, or particular paints like contrast paints. Just print, you know, 3D print something to shelf that and put that on. But I also want to make something. Now, another reason why I want to make something is not all of you have access to a 3D printer. There's some of you that do are more interested in printing, you know, bases or particular parts of models, or printing models themselves, not actually doing things like this. So what I've got here is a piece of foam board. Okay, I'll flash it too long, much in front of the camera, because the lighting will reflect the white. This piece I have is an off-cut piece, I do believe. It is 16.5 inches by just over 18 inches. So what I want to plan to do is try and cut so I can make a type of stand. Even if I can only house, say, half of those on that one stand, the space it's going to save me is going to be, you know, absolutely fantastic. It's going to be a bit of a game changer for me as well. So the first thing I need to do really is I need to cut 2 strips. There's 16.5 inches. I need to measure. I need to measure how high that's going to be on the table. Now the camera not responding to me. 16 inches or 16.5 inches is very high. So 16 inches is a nice height. I might even do it 15. Or I can actually do it 8 and get 2 cuts on there. That's actually not a bad idea. But 10 inches wide is 8 paints. So that's actually quite nice, because if I can get say 3 levels or 4 levels, 8, 16, 24 paints on that one little section. That's actually good. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to cut. I'm going to cut a strip 16 inches. I want the shelving to be 10 inches, don't I? Yeah, so I'm going to cut a strip 16 inches and then cut it in half to give me the height on either side. I'll do that first, I think. Right, so I cut it down 16. Then I said, that's, you know, it's too thick. Cut it down to those 8 inches. And it still looked and said they're still too thick for side pieces. So I actually cut it down 4 inches. And then I got four cuts of that. So that's essentially 2 side pieces. Okay. So what I need to do now I initially measured it to be 10 inches. Okay. Which gives me, you know, 8 pots, I think it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pots, yeah. So looking at the offcut piece I have, it's 16 inches, just over 16 inches, 16 and a half inches. So I'm thinking 10 inches, I'm only going to get, you know, a very thin piece. What if I cut it down so it's 8 inches? I'm only going to get 4 pots then per shelf. No, I think I should go with 10. I think 10 inches is a healthy number. Because the actual shelf itself doesn't need to be that thick, because this is less than an inch, okay, in diameter. I think it's just, actually just over an inch, sorry. Just under an inch and a half. So, or 32 millimeters. Thereabouts. So if I cut it 10 inches to give me my initial shelf, this particular piece I have here is 8.5 inches. So if I cut it 1.5 inches, 2, 3, it's going to give me 5 pieces, 5 shelves. It's not too bad really, because then I can always have one shelf slightly higher, bottom shelf and one of them slightly higher up. It gives me a space to put basic materials and stuff. So I've got a little pot full of grasses and stuff. But it gives me that space there as well, so that's nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make the initial cut 10 inches. Okay, then I'm going to cut cut that 10 inches, 1.5 inches to give me my shelving pieces. I know I'm not really showing you too much practically, but I'm giving you all the measurements that I'm doing so you can follow along. Right, so what I did, come down to this length, then what I've done is taken 2-inch square from there. Okay, they're not going to be shelves. These 2-inch squares, I'm going to cut corner to corner to give me a triangle piece. That's going to act like a brace for the shelves. Okay, I'm still thinking about barbecue skewers as well, to put them through to give it more support. But I don't know, because these are quite, there's no bend in there. The paint pots don't weigh that much enough to bend this foam board, so it's quite a nice sturdy material. I think even if I weighed all the weights on them, put all of the paint pots on there, I could fit on there, it's still not going to make it bend, to be honest. It's a lead model, still not bending, so there is a good bit of strength in it. So I'm going to cut these into squares, into triangles and then come back to you for the next stage. I might get some barbecue skewers out and have a look how they look the way I'm thinking in my head. Now with this foam board, when you are cutting it, you will get little nicks, you know, hanging out the top, and it won't cut smooth because the way the material is. If you have access to Foamex, sorry, that's a better thing. It's a bit more flexible, but you'll get a perfect cut from it. So if you're going for perfect millimeter cutting, go with Foamex. If you're like myself, it's used to store paints on, this foam board will work perfectly. Right, I made a bit of a cock up there. The side pieces were 4 inches wide. For sure the shelves are 1.5 inches to house the pot on. So I said, okay, let me take the side pieces out 4 inches and cut them in half, make them 2 inches. I cut them all, and then I was like, I should have made the shelf really 3 inches, so then I can actually have 2 pots on it, but it doesn't matter. That's done now. So I have more than enough side pieces at 2 inches. The plan is to have them like so. Then have the shelf that's 1.5 inches across to slot in the middle like so. The triangle braces, I think one will go underneath like that. Now how am I going to put all these together, you're going to say? Sorry, there's one more piece to go onto that then. So if I put that in the middle there like so, okay, I can then take a barbecue skewer, cut it down and stick it, very pretty told. So it's going to be glued along this edge, so it sticks onto there. It's going to be glued along the back edge, so it sticks onto the side. And then I can take a barbecue skewer and glue it along the back there to the other side. Now I'm going to hot glue them all together. I think that's the best way of doing it. Yeah, I think hot gluing it, we can super glue it, but it's going to take ages. Now with the hot glue, when I hot glue it on, there's going to be all webby bits coming off, where those of you who use hot glue will know what I mean. Those of you who haven't, when you do the hot glue and you take the hot glue gun away to put it back down, there'll be like a little string of glue coming from where you've glued to the gun. We call these webs. So as they dry, they come all like webby. You just take them off. You can take them off with a blade. You can use pair of clippers. You can just pull them off. Now, what I will probably do then afterwards is get a bit of super glue, so I have it on the brush, and just run it over the hot glue just to seed it a little bit. But I don't want to get super glue in between there because it's foam. It'll just melt it. So I'm going to try and set up and film myself hot gluing it. It'll probably done hyperlapse, so for you it'll be like 20 seconds if that, because I've rubbed it on long enough now. And then try and come back to you with a finished piece so you can see the way it's done. And then I will put it on the table, I put paints on it so you can see how it looks. Now of course the foam board comes in 2 colours, white or black. I prefer using the black one for building terrain, stuff on terrain, because I don't need to worry too much about undercoating it. Whereas the white one, if I want it to be like, have silver, or I want it to be some specific colour, I have to undercoat it black first of all, then add the colour onto it. So that's why I'm using the white one. And as it's going to be for paints, it's not, it's not a big issue. Like I said, if it's not millimetre perfect, it doesn't matter. It's paints are sitting on it, it's saving me space, saving me time, and it's a piece of foam board that I've got sitting down, lying around. I can actually see 2 more pieces of foam board down there, so I can actually make more. But anyway, I'm going to crack on with that. And one thing I forgot to mention, the height of this. So I don't want to have it on the shelf and have another shelf there, so I can't get it out, or have another shelf where it's only just above and it's a struggle for me to get out because they're going to be lined up along here. So what I really want to do is measure the distance here, distance of the pot, and then maybe add a little tiny bit on top so I can actually just put my finger in and pull it out. So I'm going to do that because then I need to, I was thinking with these pieces, I was going to put them in the middle. Okay, but if I put them to the I know I need to put them in the middle. If I put them at the back, the front of this is going to be lopsided. If I put it in the middle, it's going to give it equal balance. So then I've got to work out where I'm going to put, say, the first one. First one will probably be there like that. And then the second one. And then maybe the third one, put it on top. So I've got space on top then. So I'm going to set the camera up and attempt to hyperlapse so you can actually see me doing it in maybe 20 seconds, but actually spend time doing it. If that doesn't work out, then I'll just come back with it hot glued together. Okay. Right. I said to you I need to measure a mark and how big this piece is, and I went straight over there and just started gluing. Didn't mark nothing. It's like, oh. Now it didn't come out as perfect as I wanted it, but there's a few things to mention here first. For some reason, this white foam board, I don't know why it does it, but you have a lot of this where it's just broken off. It just breaks up into pieces. Yeah, I don't know why. With bits like this just falling out of it. I don't know why it does that. The same foam, but in black, does it as well, but not as much as the white one for some bizarre reason. Now, I'm only going to take positives away from it. Okay. The first positive is I've used scrap material to make it. That's the first, there's a piece of foam board that was sitting down there. It wasn't even a full board, I don't think. It was just an off-cut piece. And it was actually covered in dust. That's how long it's been sitting there. So that's one positive, that I've used a piece of material that was just left sitting there. I've turned it into something usable. Now, if this lasts 6 months and then falls apart, doesn't matter. If it lasts 6 months, a year, and I find something that's better, whether I'm 3D printing it, whether I buy it or 3D print it, or someone sends it to me, says put this together and have a go at this, it's fine. Now, apart from this video, you guys, I'm going to see these again because they'll be on the painting table and there won't be, I don't think they'll be shot. But I didn't cut enough shelving pieces, and I'm a little bit skew with the shelving pieces. So here's the second one that I did. Yeah, as you can see, it's a little bit skew with across the top here. Let me just grab this. the tool I should have used. So it is slightly off to one side. But I did glue some triangle braces on the bottom just to give a bit more support. Now this one's not too bad. It's a little skew with at the top, I know that. But let's look at it positively. There's 8 paints. There's another 8 paints. I could have contrast paints underneath here, okay, or I could have, I'm thinking airbrush paints, or something, or even army painters, because they come in the big drop bottles. So there's the first one. That's very positive for that one. Okay, even if I just use the top 2 and I'm not using the bottom one, there's still 16 paints off of my desk. I showed you how many on there earlier. But yeah, that's a good chunk out of my way. Now the first one I did, again, it's a little skew with it here, because I glued it on, and as I glued it on, you can see there's a gap there. It just sort of slid a little bit, and this side then slid down a little bit, and so. But again, I'm only going to take positives away. So even if you say 8, 16, 24, I'll probably get 8 down the bottom here. That's 32 paints off my desk. Even if I don't manage to get 8 in these gaps, I manage to get 6, just for example. A 6, 12, 18, 24 paints off the desk, plus the other one. So there's a massive help for me in reorganising the desk and making the desk a bit more organised. I can then take that big plastic thing, put it on one of the shelves there, and have either extra paints on there that I haven't opened, or have like airbrush paints, or specific paints that I know if I need airbrush paint, guess where it is. I think it's a positive, really. All I'm going to take from this is positives. I'm not the best for DIY stuff. I can build terrain, fantastic, but I just can't build, pieces of furniture. Anyway, I'm going to put it on the desk and sort the desk out, make it, look nice and everything else. I might show you in Weekly Wednesday, next week's Weekly Wednesday, where it is and what it looks like on the desk. Only because if you guys have off-cut pieces of foam board, or off-cut pieces of, some sort of material that you can use that's sturdy enough to hold paints and stuff like that, you can do something like this as well. Not only does it get rid of the scrap piece of material, but it gives you a bit of storage solutions, shall we say. It's not the best. And I'm sure when Mark comes over next time, he's going to look at it and go, what the hell? But at the same time saying it, you see it's got a purpose and it's practical and it's useful and it's saved me a bit of space. Anyway guys, if you're seeing this for the first time, I'm a little bit embarrassed about my my DIY skills. The wife always takes a piss at me about my DIY. But anyway, if you're seeing this for the first time, hit the subscribe button because it costs you absolutely nothing. Turn your notifications on so I don't miss anything. Everyone smash the thumbs up button so it triggers YouTube to share this video with more and more people, which makes this amazing community of you guys grow even more. Yeah, any comments or anything, or you want to take the piss, chuck it below as always, guys. Until next time, take it easy.